This meeting is being recorded. This meeting is being recorded.
All righty, I have some nice Adele with the piano today. So welcome to our Friday stretch session. This is Katie. A reminder to listen to your bodies today. Do what feels good. Feel free to leave out what feels bad or modify it how you'd like, or feel free to ask for an adaptation if you'd like as well. Let's go ahead. We're going to begin standing on our mats, just a neutral standing position, feet under hips, toes forward. We're going to work those arms first. So we're just going to start with some nice big forward arm circles to begin. So we're reaching our hands high, reaching them out in front of us, down to the floor and behind us. Big forward arm circles. Take these nice and slow. Be easy on your shoulders. Today is about mobility and slow movement. We've done a lot of workouts all week, so it's time to do the maintenance portion. And let's go ahead and reverse those arm circles, taking them backwards now. And of course, as always, if it's a little difficult to do both arms at once, you can always do swimmer arms and just do one arm circle at a time. One on the right, one on the left. And go ahead and pause those arm circles. You can let your arms fall back down by your sides. Next, we're going to do some arm swings. So we'll take both arms and we'll wave them up overhead, reaching nice and high. And then we're going to wave them, let gravity take them back down and swing back behind us and repeat. So arms up, arms back, just a gentle arm swing. Like we're doing the wave. You're at a baseball stadium. If you want, you can do one arm at a time as well. And go one more rep. And then go ahead and let those arms fall back down by your sides. And next, we're going to do some nice gentle torso twists. So I'll have you raise your arms just about shoulder height. I like to, can either reach your arms out in front of you or maybe put your fists together, let your elbows go out to the sides. And then we're going to keep our feet planted and just twist our hips and chest and nose to the right. Come back to the center and then gently twist over to the left. Just a nice gentle torso twist. You can also do your hands on your hips if you want. Make sure we're taking these nice and slow, kind of feeling our feet shift weight a little bit, but we're not letting one foot raise off the mat. We're keeping our balance as we twist our hips. And go ahead and pause those torso twists. You can let your arms fall. Next, we're going to do some Cossack rocks or a wide stance rock. So I'll have you take your feet 1 to 2 steps outside of your hips. So you're in a nice wide standing position. And then we're going to lower our hips just slightly, take a slight bend in the knees. And then we're going to shift our weight over into that right leg, straightening out the left leg. And rock slowly over into that left leg, straightening out the right leg. So a nice Cossack rock here, getting the knees and ankles and hips nice and mobile. Great stretch of the inner thigh as well, inner thighs. You can always rest your hands on the tops of your thighs if that's a better position, a little easier. And let's go ahead and raise ourselves back to standing and step our feet back together. We're going to do some hamstring scoops next. So I'll have you start by stepping your right foot one pace out in front of you and at a slight diagonal. And then we're going to take our fingertips to our right leg and slowly trace them down our leg towards our foot, pushing our hips back, scooping down towards the foot, and then raising ourselves back to standing, stepping the right foot back underneath our hip and repeating on the left side. So left foot steps one pace out in front of you, heel down, toes up, and trace the fingertips down your entire leg towards your foot so you feel that really nice stretch on the back of your leg. Back to standing and repeat on the other side. So just continue to alternate sides. Hamstring scoops. Taking these nice and slow, but we want to start with those more dynamic movements before we do any kind of longer static hold, just to make sure our muscles are properly warmed up. Make sure we're breathing. I always like to exhale as I scoop down the leg. Inhale as I rise back up to standing. And go ahead and finish the rep you're on. We'll come back to that neutral standing position. And next we're going to do some side bends and reaching. So I'll have you start by raising your right arm overhead about from the shoulder, so over the shoulder. Left hand's going to go on your left hip. You're going to gently reach that right hand overhead and to the left as you gently push your hips over to the right. Okay, so there's that standing side bend and reach. And then we're going to come back to center. Let the right hand come down to your right hip. Raise the left arm overhead from the shoulder. Reach the left hand over to the right as you gently push your hips to the left. And repeat. Just alternating nice and slow between that right reach and that left reach. A great stretch of the entire side of your body from hip to shoulder. And take some deep breaths here as well. Take that inhale when you're in the center. Big exhale as you reach. We also want to make sure our pelvis stays tucked. We don't want our back to be overarching. So if you feel that lower back arching, go ahead and reset your pelvis. Make sure your hips are under your rib cage and maybe reach a little less far so that you can keep that lower back protected. And last one here, big breath, and we'll come back to center. We're going to do 2 of our sun salutations before we get into some more static stretching. All right, so feet are under hips, toes forward. We're going to inhale, sweep our arms out to the side nice and wide, and then reach them both high overhead. We're going to exhale into a forward fold, taking our hands down, reaching towards the floor. Letting your shoulders, head, and arms all relax. We're going to take our hands to our shins and inhale, flattening our back out for a half lift. And then we're going to exhale all the way back into that forward fold, just hanging and relaxing. And then we're going to inhale as we sweep the arms out wide and reach all the way up once again. We're going to bring our palms together over our head, and we're going to exhale as we lower our palms in front of our face and into our chest. And let's repeat that sun salute, the whole thing again. Inhale, sweeping the arms out and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, reaching all the way back up, palms together, and exhale. Go ahead and lower those palms back down into the chest. All right. We'll stay standing for just a few more stretches here, and then we'll get down to the mat. We're going to do a triangle stretch to begin. So I'll have you take a nice wide stance with your feet. Toes are pointing forward. And then I'm going to have you turn your left toes out to the left. All right. Next, I want you to reach both arms out to the sides, about shoulder height, with your arms fully extended, palms facing forward. We're going to take a nice big inhale, and then we're going to exhale as we take that left hand down towards our left inside of our ankle or shin, and our right arm and hand and fingertips all reach overhead to the ceiling. Triangle stretch. Great stretch in that lower back region, as well as the hamstring. Continue to breathe. Let's get one more breath in. And go ahead and raise yourself back up to that center standing position. You can let your arms fall back down by your sides. Let's turn the left toes to face forward once again. And we'll switch to the other side. So we'll turn the right toes out to the right now. We'll inhale. Reach our arms out to the sides, about shoulder height. And we'll exhale as we tilt and bring that right hand to the inside of our right ankle and our left hand towards the ceiling. Remember, palms are facing where our nose is facing, which is forward. And of course, continue to breathe nice and slow. Try to think about your breathing today. When does it get rapid? When do you try to hold it? And one more big breath. And you can raise yourself back up out of that triangle stretch. Let your arms fall back down and turn your toes to face forward once again. All right, we'll go back to that neutral standing position. Feet are under hips, toes forward. We're going to do a chest opener stretch next. So I'll have you interlace your fingers behind your back. And then I'm going to have you pull your shoulders back, pull your chest up towards the ceiling, and take your nose to the ceiling as well. This can also be referred to as a rising locust if you want to take your hands away from your backside. great stretch to open the shoulders, open the chest muscles that often get shrunk and tightened throughout your week. If you've had a stressful week, your shoulders will want to roll in. Make sure to breathe. And let's release that chest opener stretch. We'll do a few shoulder rolls. So forward shoulder rolls, shrugging the shoulders up towards our ears, pushing them forward, pulling them down to the floor, and pulling them back behind us. Arms can stay just limp and by your sides. We're only rolling the shoulders around. Just kind of loosening them up, relieving some of that tension that they hold. Like I said, if we have stress buildup or a job where you're sitting a lot. And let's reverse those shoulder rolls, take them backwards. All right, and you can let those shoulders relax. No more rolling. We're going to transition into a downward dog stretch. So if you're familiar with it, go ahead and get into it. If not, I'm going to have you take your feet just slightly outside of your hips. I'm going to have you reach your both hands down towards the floor. And then we'll walk those hands away from our feet. And we'll keep our hips nice and high up in the air. And we'll come to the balls of our feet. So now the only things in contact with the floor are the balls of my feet and my hands. My hips are nice and high. And I'm trying to pull or push those heels down into the floor. Feeling a great stretch along the backside of both of my legs. If we can't quite get those heels to the floor, I highly recommend you pedal one heel down at a time. So as you push your left heel down, your right knee will bend. And then as you push your right heel down, your left knee will bend. So go ahead and hang out in that down dog for a few breaths. Great stretch of the hamstrings. And we're going to transition into a deep lunge stretch. So I'll have you take your right foot and bring it up between your hands. So my hands are on either side of my right foot. My left leg is still extended long behind me. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that left knee down to the floor and let the foot relax. So now I'm in that deep lunge stretch on the right side. I'm feeling a great stretch in the front of my left hip. You can keep both hands down on the floor where they're at, or if you want to add a little rotation, maybe deepen the stretch a bit, I'll have you take your right hand off of the mat, twist your chest and nose to the right, and take that right hand overhead from the shoulder. So this is a twisted deep lunge stretch. Make sure we're sinking the hips down towards the floor and into that front knee. And breathe. Most important part. This is one of those stretches that your body might want to hold its breath. We hold a lot of tension in our hips and our shoulders. And if you decided to add that twist, go ahead and bring your right hand back down to the mat. So both hands are on either side of the right foot once again. And we're going to transition into a runner's lunge, still on this right side. So we'll keep our right foot where it's at, but we're going to begin to walk our hands and shift our hips back towards that left heel. As I do that, the right leg is going to straighten out in front of me, and I'm going to take my right heel and plant it into the mat, and my right toes are going to go up to the sky. So my right leg is completely straight, and my right foot is flexed. Runner's lunge or a half split stretch. It's a great stretch along the entire backside of that right leg. And I like to keep my hands down on the floor. If you don't have quite that range, you can always use a wall or something supportive nearby to rest your hands on. And your leg might not completely straighten. You might have a slight bend in the knee. That's okay as well. We all have a different range. Let's take a few deep breaths here. And we're going to transition into the other side. So I'll have you bring that right knee and plant it under your right hip. So now we're in that kneeling position on the mat. And to switch sides, we're going to start with that deep lunge first. So I'll have you bring your left foot around and plant it out in front of you. So right now my left foot is flat out in front of me. My left leg is at about a 90-degree angle, and my right knee is planted into the floor. I'm going to bring both hands down to either side of that left foot now. And to sink into that deep lunge stretch, I'm just going to let my hips go towards the floor. I'm going to push them towards the floor and into that left leg. Deep lunge stretch, left side. We're feeling a great stretch on the front of the right hip now. Again, remember to breathe. Take water breaks whenever you need. And if you want to add that twist, I did forget, I'm so sorry. If you want to add that twist to this deep lunge, you'll take your left hand off of the mat. Raise your left fingertips over your shoulder towards the ceiling and twist your chest and nose to the left. Few more breaths.
The time is 12:21 p.m.
All right, let's transition into that runner's lunge. So we will shift the hips back towards that right heel, keeping the left heel planted out in front of us until we get as far back as we can. We're flexing the left foot, pointing the toes towards the ceiling, and straightening that left leg out as much as we can for a runner's lunge or half split. Nice intense stretch along the backside of the left leg. And let's go ahead and bring that left knee back underneath our hips. So we're in a kneeling position. And we'll lower our hands down to the floor. So we're in a tabletop position. Our back is nice and flat. Knees are under the hips. Feet are trailing behind the knees. Hands are flat on the floor under the shoulders. We're going to do a calf stretch next. You can also do this against the wall if you'd like. But we will extend our right leg back long behind us. Right ball of the foot and toes are planted into the floor. Right heel is going to push back away from our body. We're really targeting the right calf muscle. Imagine someone has that rope tied around your right ankle and they're pulling it gently away from you. If you want to add a gentle rock forward and backward, you can do that as well. Let's get one more big breath in here. And let's pull that right knee back in underneath the hips. And we'll switch to the left one. So we'll extend the left leg long back behind us. Left toes in the floor, left heel towards the ceiling. And we'll gently push that left heel away from our body. And go ahead and add that gentle rock forward and backward if you'd like. All right, one more big breath on this left side. And let's pull the left knee back in underneath the hip. So we're back in that tabletop position. And we'll do some cat-cow stretches next. So go ahead and start by inhaling, arching your back, tilting your pelvis up towards the ceiling, dropping your chest down towards the floor and taking your nose up to the ceiling. And then we'll transition into the cat by exhaling, rounding our back, pushing our hips forward and pushing our shoulders away from our palms. And we'll alternate between those two, paying attention to our breath. And our tilting of the pelvis, which is a very important mechanism and muscles to take care of everything that surrounds your pelvis. also paying attention to our shoulders and how the shoulder blades come together in that cow and how they separate in the cat. This is a great stretch, not only for the pelvis, but for the shoulders. Few more breaths. And let's go ahead and come back to the center in that tabletop position. And we're going to transition into a child's pose or a puppy pose, whichever is more comfortable for you. I'll go through both, starting with the child's pose. For the child's pose, I'll have you walk your hands away from your knees, so a little further out in front of you, maybe until you get to the top of your mat. Then you're going to shift your hips back to sit on or near your heels. This is going to be that child's pose stretch. We may need to walk the fingertips further away from the shoulders to feel a great stretch in our back. Feel free to use supports under your bum, between your knees, if you would need. Sometimes we don't have quite the flexion in our knees to sit all the way back. And if you'd like to try the puppy pose instead of this child's pose, I'm just going to have you drop your elbows to the floor and raise your hips up higher. So that'll be the puppy stretch. And let's just take a few breaths here. I'm going to have you thread the needle to get a little extra shoulder stretch in. So I'll have you start by taking your right hand and threading it between your left elbow and left knee, reaching as far left as you can with that right hand. And just relax, stretching the right shoulder. And one more breath. And let's bring that right hand back and extend it out in front of us once again. And we'll switch to threading the needle with the left hand. So we'll take that left hand, thread it between the right elbow and right knee, reaching that left hand as far right as we can. Stretching the left shoulder. Few more breaths. On your next breath, go ahead and bring that left hand back through the elbow and knee and extend it back out in front of you. Let's take 2 more nice big breaths in this child's pose or puppy pose. And we'll gently push ourselves out of that stretch back into a tabletop. And then we're going to lower ourselves all the way down to the floor, lying on our bellies. So find a comfortable way to lie on your stomach. Extend your legs out long. And let's just do a few hip wags. So I'll have you put your right hand over your left or your left over your right. Make your forehead a little bit of a pillow. And then I'm just going to have you shake your hips out right to left. Just a nice gentle wag. Like a happy lab. And you can go ahead and pause the hips, and I'll have you bend both knees, bringing both feet up over the knees in this lying position. And keeping our hips planted in the floor, we're just going to gently drop both feet over to the right and both feet over to the left for some of those prone windshield wiper stretches. Being nice and gentle here. Not trying to force our legs to go too far. You don't want to really twist the back too much. Kind of massaging out the quads when we do this as well.
Are we on our stomach or our back?
We're on our stomach.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'm sitting in a chair. Is there a way, can I just modify this like that? Just
I'm trying to think of a way for the chair.
maybe I'm kind of just bent over from the waist, just with the straight back. Just doing.
We're about to transition into a quad stretch. So we're able to do that seated in the chair by kind of sitting more to the side of the chair. So I'll talk through that.
Oh, sure. Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and extend both legs.
Thank you.
Yep. Both legs back out long, and we're lying on our stomachs. And we're going to stretch the right quads. So I'll have you bend the right leg and reach around with your hand or your yoga belt and grab that right ankle and just hold it there. Pulling the right heel closer to your backside, stretching the front of the right quad. And yeah, if we're in that seated chair position, we can go more to the side and we can bend the right knee and hold on to the right ankle from that seated position. You'll still get a nice quad stretch. And you could also do it by sitting on more of the front of your chair, the front edge, to get more of that leverage as well. And remember to breathe. Feel that right quad start to actively loosen after that 30-second stretch. And let's go ahead and release that right ankle, right leg back out long, and we'll switch to the left side. So we're bringing the left ankle or left heel towards our left glutes. Option to just stay there, or you can always reach around and grab that left ankle with your hand or yoga belt and pull it closer to your backside.
Are you doing this face down?
Yes.
Oh, because I was doing it face up.
Oh, yep. We're still face down for this portion of the stretches, and then we'll be on our backs.
Recently read button 1909 7341039 answer call button.
I do have a screen reader. Just give it one more and then I might mute all. Let's take one more big breath. And we'll go ahead and release that left ankle back out long. And let's roll on to our backs now for some more grounded stretches. So once we've come onto our backs in a nice lying position, we can be in that corpse to start. So our legs are extended long. Our arms are down by our sides. We'll just take a few breaths as we transition. And we're going to do a knee hug stretch. So kind of the opposite now of the stretch we just did, which some of you might have been doing. So let's go ahead and bring that right knee up into our chest and give it a big hug with both hands. Our left leg stays extended long. And as we hug that right knee into our chest, let's go ahead and do some ankle circles with that right foot. So we'll go one clockwise and one counterclockwise. And you can pause the ankle circles whenever you like. My ankle gets tired after about 30 seconds. And let's go ahead and release the front of that right leg. And we're actually going to straighten the right leg and take our hands to the back of the right knee or the back of the right thigh, so the hamstring region. We're straightening our leg as much as we can over the hip. We're going to transition into a reclined pigeon stretch. So I'll have you bring your left knee up, left knee's up towards the ceiling, left foot is flat on the floor. Then we're going to gently bring the outside of that right ankle to the top of the left knee or left thigh. And let the right knee gently fall out to the side for that reclined pigeon or lying figure 4 stretch. Option to just stay here as is. You can gently take both hands and push that right knee away from you. Or if you'd like a more intense stretch, you're not feeling much, go ahead and raise the left foot off of the floor. And you can support that by holding the back of your left thigh with both hands. Should feel a good stretch in our outer right hip region. Few more breaths. And let's go ahead and release that right leg. We'll let the right leg extend out long on the floor or out in front of us. And we'll switch sides. So we're going to get that knee hug stretch on the left side now. So we're bringing that left knee up towards our chest, wrapping our fingers, interlacing our fingers in the front of the left shin, and just hugging that knee in as close as we can while the right leg stays straight. And feel free to add those ankle circles, one clockwise, one counterclockwise. And on your next breath, let's go ahead and extend the left leg straight, taking those hands now to the back of the left thigh. Keeping that leg as straight as we can. A slight bend in the knee is always okay. My hamstrings are really tight, so I'm feeling this one today. And let's transition into that reclined pigeon. So we'll bend the right knee's up towards the ceiling, right foot is flat on the floor. And then we'll take the outside of that left ankle and take it to the top of the right thigh or right knee. Left knee will gently fall out to the side. Our hands are gently pushing that left knee away from us, and we're staying as is. Or we are raising the right foot off of the floor and holding the back of our right thigh with both hands. Reclined pigeon stretch. Continue to breathe deeply. And on your next breath, go ahead and release that reclined pigeon stretch. Let's let both legs go back out long away from us. And we're going to roll ourselves up to a seated position. So we are seated on the mat. Our legs are extended out in front of us. And I'm going to have you widen your legs outside of your hips. So we're in a nice wide seated position. And we're going to go into a wide legged seated forward fold. So I'll have you inhale and reach both arms up overhead, reaching as high as you can. And then I'll have you exhale and fold forward, reaching the hands as far as we can out in front of us between the feet. Continue to breathe. Just a couple more breaths here. Feeling a nice gentle stretch of the lower back, the backside of the thighs, maybe even the shoulders. And on your next breath, one vertebrae at a time, let's bring our hands back towards our body and roll ourselves back to an upright seated position. And we're going to transition into a half butterfly stretch. So keep your right leg right where it's at. I'm going to have you bring your left leg in, the bottom of your left foot is going to come to the inside of your right thigh. So your left knee will kind of gently fall out to the side. This is a half butterfly stretch. Once you've gotten your feet in position, we'll go ahead and inhale once again. Reaching the arms up high, we're going to flex the right foot as we exhale and lean both hands over to reach towards that right foot or ankle or shin. And let's just breathe as we hold here. This is a great stretch of the UL muscle, that lower back muscle, inner thighs, hips, hamstrings. And on your next breath, go ahead and take your hands to your shins if they weren't already there. And let's slowly bring our hands back towards our body, rolling ourselves to upright seated, one vertebrae at a time. Let's release that left leg back out wide. So we're back in that wide seated position. And we'll switch to the other side. So we'll bring the bottom of our right foot to the inside of our left leg, left thigh. Right knee will fall out to the side. We're in that half butterfly stretch. And we'll go ahead and inhale, reaching up. And exhale, folding forward, reaching towards that left foot, left ankle, left shin. Few more breaths. And go ahead and take those hands down to your shin if they weren't already there. And let's roll ourselves back to upright seated, one vertebrae at a time. And let's go into that full butterfly stretch, bringing the bottoms of our feet together, letting our knees fall out to the sides. And then that butterfly stretch, stretching the inner thigh. We're going to add a gentle lumbar twist. So I'll have you take your right hand behind you and then your left hand to the outside of your left knee or the top of your left knee. And then just gently twist your shoulders and nose to the right. Sorry, right hand is behind you, left hand's on your knee. I might have mixed that up. Apologies. Continuing to take those deep breaths. We're really expanding our lower stomach area with each breath. On your next next breath, let's go ahead and come back to center. And we'll switch to the other side, taking our left hand back behind us, right hand to the top or outside of that left knee, gently twisting shoulders and nose to the left. And on your next breath, go ahead and bring yourself back to center. You can continue to hold this butterfly, or you can stretch your legs out in front of you. The rest of our stretches are upper body stretches. So just find a comfortable seated position. And we'll do our cross body shoulder stretch. So I'll have you reach your right arm out in front of you, about shoulder height, keeping the right arm straight. You're going to cross the center line of your body and hook the right elbow into your chest with your left elbow and push that right shoulder down towards the floor. You can do some wrist circles if you'd like with that right hand. One clockwise, one counterclockwise. And let's release that right arm. Shake out the shoulders, and we'll switch to the left arm, reaching left arm out in front of us, about shoulder height. Arm stays straight as we hook the left elbow into the chest with our right elbow. And add those wrist circles. And go ahead and release that left arm. Last but not least, give yourselves a pat on the back. Way to show up for your stretch today. Like I said, you're doing that maintenance, and that's very important.